31st, 12:57 p.m. So 3 minutes before the market closes, and Apple and Amazon report earnings. I'm gonna start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. I want to remind you again, I do live stream all of these big techs as they report earnings. This has been a very crucial week. We will be also live streaming NVIDIA's earnings. So again, if you ever want to tune on in to watch that, all you literally have to do is drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You will see a little live chat on the right-hand side of your screen. This will give you the ability to ask me any questions and also just to engage with other people that are tuning on in live. You do not have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but to tune on in and to participate in that live chat, you do have to be subscribed. So just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. With that being said, it's time for these companies to report earnings. Today was an absolute bloodbath for most of the market, and it's going to be very crucial. You know, is the market going to exceed expectation and guidance for Apple and Amazon? Because again, this could be the last domino that really sends market to new lows. Look at this. TQQQ, which is the triple leveraged NASDAQ ETF, is down 6.7%. A pretty solid pullback. It's been one of the most aggressive pullbacks that we've seen in some time, but we have a handful of companies. We have Amazon down 3.2%. So again, is this a good place where markets can begin to recover and go back to retest previous highs? We have Apple that's down 1.5%. Again, is this a good time for Apple to begin to recover, or is it going to really top it off and send it to new lows? A big question. Microsoft reported earnings yesterday. Earnings were good. Guidance were a little bit lower than what was expecting, or what we were expecting. 5.8% in the red. Coinbase down 15%. We have Google down 1.8, and that's after it gapped up and then pretty much is giving back everything that it's gained. Meta, after exceeding expectations for earnings per share, but guidance, again, for 2025, their spending for AI was a lot more than what Wall Street expected. Snapchat with a huge gap up, but again, being dragged down by the rest of the market. This is to show you the influence that big tech has on the entire market. So in the next 1 minute, market will close, and then we should see, again, are we going to be able to continue to sell off, or are we going to begin to recover? So you guys let me know in the live chat what you think. All right, so no one's going to invest for a few days before the election. The stocks are going to tank. I don't know about that, but I think a lot more of it has to do with how these reports come out, right? Especially these companies are super influential. They're trillion-dollar companies. We're talking about Amazon, Meta, Apple. So without further ado, markets have officially closed. Let's see what ends up presenting itself, okay? So thank you guys again for tuning on in. Make sure you guys drop a thumbs up, and let's see. So I have Apple and Amazon both here. Apple and Amazon both here. Let's see which way they go. Will they skyrocket or crash the market? SMCI is down 11.97% today. Hood is down 16.7%. There we go. Looks like it's moving in the green. There it goes. Up 3% for Amazon. Amazon is skyrocketing right now. Look at that. 3.4, 4% in the green. Let's see if the rest of big tech follows. NASDAQ in the green. 3.5% for Amazon aftermarket hours. Holy smokes, it's giving it back. Oh, changing on you. Oh my, dude, what the heck? Whoa, quick changes of direction. This is wild. Look at this. Look at this. 3.5%. Again, if you don't want to be able to tolerate this kind of volatility, know when to lock in profits. After market hours trading, you do it with a limit order. So just a quick little reminder on that. If you don't want to expose yourself to that kind of volatility, then don't take a trade, right? Very simple, very straightforward. Testing 194. As of right now, Amazon is bullish. Let's go ahead and pull it up here. Let's see what it reported. Amazon exceeded earnings per share expectation and revenue expectation. So now the big question is the guidance better than what was expected? As of right now, it's looking quite bullish. 5% in the green. All right, now we wait for Apple. Apple does have a little bit larger of a market cap. Is this going to be the same setup that we saw yesterday with Microsoft and Meta? Microsoft gapped up, good earnings, good guidance. Meta, good earnings, bad guidance, causing the market to top over. Here it goes. Testing resistance at 5%, 196. Still pushing, 5.5%. Amazon is gapping up. Look at that. The last few days seem to be heavily manipulated. Think of the dollar move to make these companies swing like this. There's volatility. Markets are at all-time highs. I wouldn't say it has to do anything with manipulation, but obviously when you deal with some of the most popular companies that are being publicly traded, that's what the volume it comes with. When there's quick changes of direction, possible changes of market sentiment, right? Markets are extremely overbought, and it doesn't take much to create a lot of selling pressure. So this is why some people choose to trade during earnings. This is why some people choose to stay away from earnings. All right, up 6%. Testing resistance at 199 for Amazon. Apple still set to report. All right, let me pull up Apple and get that one ready. That's AAPL. We'll just go here under earnings. Still yet to be reported. Showing signs of a resistance. Watch for a reversal here. There we go. Who's taking profits on Amazon? Who's taking profits with that big rally? Up 6% on the day on Amazon alone. Shorted slick. I don't know about that. I'm waiting for Apple. Apple's the big one. Here it goes, beginning to curl over. All right, testing support. We're waiting for Apple to report. We have to stay patient. Amazon is getting ready to curl over. It needs Apple to save itself. How do you guys feel about it? All right. We're waiting. We're waiting. Wait a minute. What's going on here? That was a scary candle. I was like, no way. No, it's just a broken candle. There we go. Going into the 4s. Testing 195 support. All right, come on, Apple. Come on, come on. You're saying Apple's going to pump. And again, for those that are tuning on in for the first time that you might be watching and be like, oh, what should I buy? Should I buy Apple? Should I short it? Should I buy Amazon? Should I short it? Remember, there's nothing wrong with just watching. It's one of my favorite times of the year just to watch. You don't have to try to hope and predict. I mean, that's at that point, it's a coin flip. You're trying to get lucky. I just want to remind you that you don't have to make an uninformed trade decision, right? Build healthy habits. Take advantage of quality trades where you can, mitigate risk. If you open yourself to an uncontrollable amount of risk, then it's only a matter of time for you to take one bad trade that will wipe out every gain that you've made. So please, especially for a lot of our beginners, I know some of you guys are joking about, I'm going in, very quick just with Apple or with Amazon. I want to remind you that, again, we have a lot of beginners that are easily influenced. Let's just encourage them to build those healthy habits where they don't necessarily have to make the same mistakes that we have made already. So, all right, we're still waiting for Apple. Guess we could run a poll. What do we think? All right, let me know. All right, we're beginning to curl back over. If Apple sells off, this is going to send Amazon right back into the red. If it skyrockets, it will definitely help Amazon hold its ground in the green. Look at that. The rest of big tech following. We got TQQQ in the green, about 0.66% after losing 7.6%. Again, can't be surprised with TQQQ nearly not at all-time highs, but at 52-week highs. This is why it's super important to know when to take profits at extremely overbought levels. If you're buying up here, then again, you're not giving yourself a lot of cushion for potential downside, right? It's definitely not a deal there. The trend is your friend there, and you have to understand that if the trend begins to change on you, then it becomes very easy to take significant loss on something where, again, the upside just does not weigh that downside risk. But trust me, that comes with time. So it will begin to make more sense. Size down with your trades and your position size. Focus on those quality trades. Small steps. Why is Apple linked to Amazon? So I like that question because I think it more showcases. So for beginners, Apple's not linked with Amazon, right? Apple's its own company that's publicly traded. Amazon is its own company. There's a thing called the Magnificent Seven. It's the name that they give to the 7 most valuable companies that are publicly traded. Amazon and Apple are part of them. So the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, they're also indexes, and they're a basket of a bunch of different companies. Apple and Amazon are very popular companies within those indexes. And because their market cap, because of their value is so high, if Apple drops, it also causes other stocks to drop because of its influence due to market cap share. When it comes down to Amazon, if Amazon rises, you can see the correlation. Then it also begins to help NASDAQ and the rest of big tech rise because of the influence that it has to that market share, that piece of the pie. So that's what I want you to understand, how they influence one another. The other example that I can give you is like, let's say AMC crashes. No one cares about AMC because it's a shitty company. It doesn't make up part of NASDAQ or the S&P 500, so it doesn't matter. So therefore, the influence that it might have if it skyrockets or if it drops is not going to be very influential to the big tech companies, right? So it's an important correlation to understand. It's not that they're synced, that if Apple does something, Amazon has to. It's just that they influence one another because of how large their market cap is. I hope that makes sense. Here we go. Apple guidance is where everything is going to matter most. I agree. I think guidance is often more important than the actual earning report itself. I agree with that. All right. Is it at 1:15? It's 15 minutes or 30 minutes after the market closes. So again, I do apologize for keeping you here longer. Again, Amazon already reported. We're waiting for Apple to report, and sometimes Apple reports 15 or 30 minutes after the market closes. So again, if it's not too much to ask, hopefully I earn your thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. So it sounds like people are saying 4:30, so we have 15 minutes left. Here we go. Apple's already beginning to move on the upside. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the live chat. You do have to be subscribed to the channel to ask. So Ricky, very good to see. So you're saying that those companies can affect NASDAQ, but are those companies the only ones? No, it's just, how do I explain this? It's just if their market share is enough to influence the overall indexes. So if you look at NASDAQ and S&P 500, different stocks make up different percent of that basket or of that index. So therefore, the more that it makes up, the more influence that individual stock has. Hope that makes sense. When is Intel reporting? I actually think Intel already reported. I think we have, yeah, Intel's up 12.1%. Huge gap up. Wow, congratulations to all Intel investors. Looks like it's retesting previous highs. Obviously, it all depends if you're an investor in Intel or if you're a trader in Intel, but Intel's been absolutely dog water. Lower highs, lower lows. It's terrible. And it looks like it's retesting previous highs. Remember, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to, so you don't have to sell if you think that there's more upside. But if you're asking me, anything up that's up 13%, I often sell way too early anyways, but I would take profits. I would not hesitate, especially when the true direction of this stock recently has been bearish. But again, that's just my take. That doesn't have to be your take. All right. Intel did good, yeah. Why did Intel gap up? It reported earnings. That's why we're here, right? So it's reporting earnings, and if it exceeds expectation and good guidance for 2025, then again, the markets can react in a positive way. DJT buy before election. That's up to you, right? I made a video, and I always get shitted on in the comment sections. Anytime that I make a video when a stock is overbought, I made a video about DJT when it gapped up and it was trading at highs of $50. People think that I'm a party pooper. I'm a realist, right? I just like I did with the AMC movement. Anytime something gaps up very quickly, very aggressively within a short period of time, I don't care what your preference is, right? I don't care what your political stance is. This is a stock, right? And it pumps and it dumps. And that's what it's known for in its history. It pumps, it dumps, it pumps, it dumps, it pumps, it dumps, it pumps, it dumps. So it would have not been a surprise for it to dump. And guess what happened? It's down 40% from the highs that it made to its current price level. I made that video not because I could pretend to predict the future, but it's because I'm aware of previous patterns. And I want to make sure that a lot of the beginners that are subscribed to my channel are also aware of what has happened in the past before. Not because it has to repeat itself, but because simply it can. I think that's an important thing to note. The same thing with Tesla. Tesla reported earnings. It gapped up. It ran 27%. People were like, oh, it's going to 300. Are you kidding me? You're telling me that you're so greedy that you went from 200 to nearly 270, and looking at previous patterns, everything was indicating that, hey, this is an extremely overbought level. Maybe it's not the worst idea to take profits. And guess what? Now it begins to retrace. But again, you kind of have to learn from your own mistakes. And it's not that it's that you needed to sell, but it's just now being able to look back and be like, okay, now I see where Ricky was coming from. And that's all I want you to understand, where you have to think about it. I truly don't care if you buy or sell. Your experience does nothing to my overall happiness, right? It's just a lot of beginners watch my videos, and it's important for them to be aware of what has happened in the past before. Again, not because it has to repeat itself, but simply because it can. INTC up 14%. Yep. Oh, I see it. All right. I recently bought 50 shares of SMCI. It's down significantly. Should I be holding or sell? I'm not here to tell you to buy or sell. If that's the question that you're asking, then you're simply not ready to take a trade. Why are you taking trades that you have no understanding of, where you plan to cut losses or where you plan to take profits, right? A goal without a plan is a plan to fail. It's literally step one in the LPP lesson library. Plan out your trade. Use the risk to reward ratio calculator. What's your upside potential? What's your downside? What's your risk to reward? What's your position size? What's your exposure to loss? What's your potential for profit? All things that we cover. Super basic, right? But it's those super basic things people like to ask. Ricky, I don't think people need, LPP. They don't need that basic structure. But then again, they have no structure. So then at that point, it does become more like gambling. You're just hoping to get lucky. There's no edge. There's no criteria. There's no quality. It's just risk. What's up, brother? I'm live. Just letting you know. I just ate Cane's.
What? No.
What's up? You got your energy drink?
Oh yeah, of course. My Jocko Go.
What is that?
It's
How many grams of caffeine?
80.
80?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Just a little pick me up.
All right.
Yeah. I actually feel really good on it.
Solid.
Do you take any nootropics or anything?
No, I don't. The only thing I ever take is pre-workout before the gym. So I take C4. Yeah. But other than that, I try not to take caffeine. I've recently been getting into drinking coffee, but that's kind of like after my run on a Saturday or Sunday.
I've been trying to do mushroom coffee.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Stevia. So
Yeah.
It doesn't raise my blood sugar just because I feel great from the caffeine and from the mushrooms, but don't have but also don't have that dopamine spike from the sugar in the coffee and then crash later on because of it.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, whatever works for you, right?
Is there?
So Ricky, I have to tell you, since I know your channel, I've been making money. I like your guidance and the way that you think. You're very smart. I appreciate that, man. Ricky, your root trade today just shows your growth as a trader that you've been able to create, respecting the risk, going in light, and executing well balanced way. See you go. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. What he's talking about is a trade that I shared with my LPP team. I broke it down for them. I shared with them when I entered. I shared with them when I closed it out. And we walked away 5K in the green. So very, very solid one. Come on, come on. We are waiting for Apple. 8 minutes left. Do you think that Tesla is going to break below support? My technical analysis doesn't mean shit when we're all waiting for Apple to report earnings. I don't know, man. I have no crystal ball, right? I shared it. I was very blunt with my LPP team today during our live session. They were asking me to break down different stocks, and I said it. Take it with a grain of salt for now. You know, I could say that, hey, you know, we're at a resistance zone or we're at a support zone. It doesn't matter. Apple comes in, blows earnings out of the water, and it shoots up. I don't care what resistance the market might be at, skyrocket. Or I don't care what support the market might be at that it's possibly going to break below. If it comes in good and Apple skyrockets, the rest of the market will flow with it. If Apple drops and crashes, I don't care what reversal the market might be forming, means absolutely goose egg to me. Markets will drop, right? We've made it very clear. Technicals are fine to trade off of when fundamentals are not in play, right? When fundamentals are in play and there's catalysts that are going to shift the market once news or, you know, reports come out, then that is what is most important to pay attention to, or to wait for them to be reported. That simple. So, oh, but Ricky, it sucks. Like, I want to take a trade before. Well, then do it at your own risk, right? Apple is overvalued. Well, I think that market is overvalued right now, right? But it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. Trust me, the market's been very humbling lately, right? When it comes down to that, the market continues to rally. The market continues to skyrocket. And I think it's just best, right? We have this saying within LPP, and it's that you can learn to dance with the market or step on its toes, but the market will always win, right? So I do agree the market's overbought, but market sentiment has been so bullish. I've actually been surprised that at least today and yesterday the market sold off a little bit. I was genuinely surprised because the market looked unstoppable. Everything it is that you guys see and you might feel and react, I feel the same way, right? But it's just maybe I've been in this a little bit longer, so it's easier for me to digest. Do you think that the Fed will print more money? I think when rates become low enough and the U.S. wants to borrow once again, to borrow at a very low rate, if we ever get to a lower rate, then yeah, I think that the Federal Reserve can print more money and the U.S. will borrow more, therefore increasing its debt, but at a lower rate and hopefully paying off some old debt. Ricky, are you interested in investing in some stocks long term? If you're part of LPP, you know exactly the one stock I want to buy at $90 per share. There's just one that I want to add to my portfolio. I talk crap about it all the time because it's so incredibly bullish, but I do it in a respectful way. Not Tesla. The fudge. You guys know what it is, yeah. NVIDIA, yeah. I talk crap about it because I'm so jealous of it. All right, 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Who's going to be tuning on into our live session tomorrow? Regardless of markets skyrocket, regardless of markets crash, for November 1st, I'd love to invite you guys to our live trading session tomorrow. If you guys want to tune on in, I have the link there for you. It's the second link in the description down below. And I do have a coupon code in there for you. You're going to get 50% off. So there's never going to be a bigger discount. It's 50% out, 50% off. And you can sign up right now, use that promo code at checkout, and it will give you $350 off. So Again, I hope to see you there, especially if you're a beginner, if you like the way that I break things down, if you like my thought process. You could just get to see a raw live session every day. Very similar to this, but just imagine me actually taking a trade. All the good trades, all the bad trades, and would be happy to have you there if you see value in the way that I break things down. Ricky, for long term, is it best to never sell or keep buying monthly? Is it better to hold cash or to crash and buy it again? There's a lot of different ways to be able to approach that. If you're asking for the way that I would prefer to do it, I don't mind reducing at overbought levels as long as it exceeds 365 days from when you purchased it. And if there are any significant pullbacks, to have cash on the sidelines to be able to take advantage of those lower prices. I always don't mind loading off at extremely overbought levels to then anticipate some form of slight pullback where I can take advantage of the market at a much cheaper price. So I'm really big on position sizing, but that doesn't mean that the way that I do things should be the way that you do things. So I appreciate you taking time and asking me that question. Ricky wants DJT at $90 per share. That is wild. AI spending is too high. Bear for bag. Yeah, we'll see. Here it goes. We have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. I know Meta reported way more expenses when it comes down to AI for 2025. So we'll see. SMCI. Are we going to talk about terrible companies? All right, here we go. All right, guys, 45 seconds left. You guys ready? Here we go. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know. What do we think? Let me know in the live chat. Bullish or bearish? Here we go. 30 seconds left. Oh, volume's picking up. Deep breaths. Right now, it's going to determine how the market ends the month and how we start the month for November. Here we go. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh! What's going on? Wait, it went red. Go green, dude, for the sake of the market. Obviously, I would love to see the market in the red, but let's see. Let's see how bad things can get. Nah, looks like it's just testing. Is it faking people out here? It's still trying to digest it. Red or green, red or green, red or green. What does the chat say? Red or green. So 54% said bullish, 45% said bearish. 973 of you voted. Hope it crashes so we could buy more at a cheaper price. I like that. I'm with you on that. Yeah, bears don't cheer too quickly. Hey, I know. Right? We know about fake outs. What's going on here? All right, going green, going green. Up 1.2%, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Peaking. Reversal forming. Holy smokes. Oh, the bears taking over. Down 1%. Down 1.3, down 1.5. What the heck is going on? I don't know if I like this. How's TQQ? TQQ doesn't know what to do. It's like, Apple, make up your mind. What's up, Blossom? What's up? What's up? They missed so hard on EPS. Let's check it. No, they didn't. Am I mistaken? 1.64 versus forecast of 1.6. Revenue exceeded expectation, but barely. But again, Apple still exceeded expectation. I feel like it's almost neutral. But the selling pressure is taking over. Look at that. Down 1.1. Testing same support. Man, this is not what I was expecting. I thought it would have been a little bit more exciting, you know? Do you agree with so much AI spending? First off, I don't run a billion-dollar company, so I can only speak from what I understand, right? And from what I've understood and these different CEOs and what they continue to express is overspending is less of a problem than underspending when it comes down to owning a piece of that marketplace for AI, right? Kind of just like any new industry or sector. It's always the first people at it that own the largest market space of it that end up taking over and pretty much running things. That is what every trillion-dollar company is trying to do right now, pouring billions of dollars into the development of their own version of AI, right? Hopefully at that point, yeah, they might be overspending when they look back 5 or 10 years from now. But nonetheless, the problem of overspending is going to be a lot less than the problem of underspending and being left out of that piece of the pie. Make sense? That's the way that it was explained to me and the way that I've read, and to me that does make sense. So to people like you and I, it might not make sense. Why are they pouring billions of dollars, losing billions of dollars every single quarter, overspending? But it's because of what they are doing, being able to leverage themselves to invest into the future. Do I agree or disagree? It's if I ran what they were doing and I wanted a piece of that marketplace, I can see why they're, thinking so forward of it. Kind of like AMD didn't spend enough and now Nvidia dominates it. I think that's a great way to be able to lay things out. For those that know, because some people don't know that AMD at one point was way bigger than Nvidia. AMD ran everything. It exceeded Intel, right? That was kind of the new thing. But yeah, it's pretty wild what's going on. So down 1.5% for Apple. Not very significant. It looks like it is dragging Amazon down just a little bit, but it's still finding its support. And remember, we still have the guidance call. The guidance call is honestly where Microsoft lost itself yesterday, because Microsoft was originally green, and then Microsoft ended up crashing after its guidance call. I don't know if you guys remember that. So yesterday, Microsoft was green, and then its guidance call happened, and then boom, huge selling pressure. So that's one thing to remind yourself is that, yeah, things might look good right now or bad, but this can completely change once they carry their guidance call, okay? Same thing for Amazon. Amazon might look green, so again, in a few hours, when you look back at it, you might be like, what the heck happened? I don't want you to ask that question anymore, because then you can be like, okay, I should look into what was expressed in that guidance call, because that's probably where investors shifted. Maybe they learned something that wasn't expressed in that earning report. That's why Apple is not providing forecasts. Makes sense. What do you think about Intel's earnings? I think it's great for Intel, and for those that bought recently, I still think Intel is a pretty shitty company if you look at it in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's been struggling for the past year from overall highs of $50 to lows of $18. So remember, one day does not make it a good stock. That's kind of like saying, DJT. Oh, wow, DJT is an incredible company. No, it's a super shitty company, right? It's not worth $10 billion. But But nonetheless, it rallied. It had a lot of momentum, a lot of hype, and that gets and causes an overreaction. And when those overreactions happen, we call it the rubber band effect, right? The further you pull that rubber band, the more overbought it becomes. Eventually, it's going to snap, and then it's going to correct itself, therefore losing 40%. We've seen it with AMC. We've seen it with every pump and dump. Again, it's not as extreme with these very valuable companies, but it's to the same degree, right? Because Intel is still valuable to some degree, but it often overreacts, especially when it's been doing so poorly. Yeah, you can tell now Intel has been trying to turn things around. I've seen the same thing with Micron Technologies. I think that's ticker MU. It's been getting absolutely smoked ever since it peaked at highs of 157, but they're now trying to invest a lot into their infrastructure, hiring. There's like a ton of expansions that I heard that were going on when it came down to bringing on more engineers. But again, that thing takes time. So if you think Intel is a good buy, I hope it is for you. But for me, just looking at its previous pattern, it's hard to ignore how incredibly bearish it's been. And because of that, if I was up 10% with a stock that's been incredibly bearish long term or more recently, I just wouldn't be very motivated to hold. But again, my opinion is not yours. A lot of consolidation there. All right. How did we do? How did we do for this live? Did you guys enjoy it? Thanks for the input. Of course, I like giving you guys and sharing my opinion with you guys. I hope that I made things just a little bit easier for you guys to understand. We broke down Apple, we broke down Amazon as it reported earnings. Now the next step is for those that are going to be having earnings call to understand that there's going to be a second wave during that actual call that could completely change the direction of that given stock or act as a further catalyst. So, Ricky, how did you find all of this information? I mean, everything that we talked about when it came down to earning reports is here. When it comes down to what we're talking about, that's what we cover in the LPP lesson library. And let me make it very clear. Do you need LPP to learn how to trade? Do you need LPP to understand all of this? No. You can figure it out all of yourself, on your own. But it's a very simple question. How much time and how much money will you lose trying to figure it out on your own? Or you could sign up for LPP, get access to our daily live sessions, and also get access to the A to Z video lesson library that's designed for complete beginners. Again, it's up to you. You don't need it. It's just simply provided for you in a more efficient and effective way. And if you learn best with that, then again, we'd love to welcome you and have you as a part of the team. We have a handful of people that obviously are welcoming you if you want to join us. And if you do decide to join, the second link in the description down below will get you 50% off so you can kick off the month of November with our live trading sessions and access to the LPP 2.0 and eventually 3.0, which you will get access to as well. So I appreciate your time. I hope that earned a thumbs up. Again, the second link in the description, I also added for you a coupon code that will get you $350 off LPP. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. You'll get to watch me trade live every single day. And if you sign up today, you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. You don't have to join. It's just for those that want to. So hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a